me, it is Super Bowl week. This is the week that, well, you really wait for this week because you want to be able to participate in it in some way, but Dolphins fans haven't had that luxury in a long time. But this is the week football fans wait for, and everything has been usurped by the NBA, which is kind of funny. But, I mean, honestly, I don't know how you found out about the Luka trade, Crowder, but I thought, because the first text I got on it was from DJ, but DJ himself wrote, I think Shams got hacked. Like, wrote it himself on the text to me. So that was my lean. Like now, so like, and so then more texts start coming in. It just didn't add up to me. Like usually you hear a rumbling or a rumor, and I don't know. How did you find out that Luka had been traded for Anthony Davis?
It was either our text thread or another one with T and J in it, but I found out on text as well, and I was like, I did the same thing. I didn't even get the this has got hacked. I just looked at it like, man, there's no way. That doesn't make no sense. And then
how'd you find out, Solana? Because you were out of town.
Yeah, I was in a cabin with a bunch of my best friends for a bachelor party up in we were in like outside of Gatlinburg. I don't know. What do you think it was? Like 12:30, 1 in the morning? I mean,
it was late because I was falling asleep. Like I literally was falling asleep, and I'm like, you know, like I'm like, is this an ambient thing? What am I doing here? What's happening? Like, let me recalibrate for a second because this doesn't add up to me.
So the one who, my buddy who actually told us, guys, Luka just got traded to the Lakers. All of us were like, shut up, stop being a bitch. Like, because 2 days prior, he goes, guys, Jimmy Butler got traded to the Warriors. And we're like, what? Now I'm like scrambling. I'm like going into work mode. And he shows me a post from Facebook that was 2 weeks old. That was just like some fake story. So he had set that precedent. None of us believed him for like 5 minutes.
So now he's the
like,
guy who, right, yeah.
He's a boy who cried wolf. So now he's like, no, I'm serious. This is from Shams. This is serious. And then all of a sudden I open up my phone and the texts start coming in. I'm like, what?
I have to tell you, for those who, like, I think Adam Schefter yesterday was a very good tweet to kind of put it in perspective. He said the NFL equivalent is the Ravens trading Lamar Jackson to the Bengals for Joe Burrow in the middle of the season. I mean, that's the equivalent in the NFL. Like, it's so crazy. You're talking about two superstars and guys who have had zero rumblings of them leaving. I mean, we were talking last week about, you know, Pat Riley's long game is to have the cap available in 2026 for Luka, but we were going, that's a long shot, though, because of course he's going to re-sign with the Mavs. Like, the same thing's going to happen to them that happened with Giannis, you know, and then all of a sudden he's traded in the middle of the season, and he had no trade demands. He was not unhappy. Like, that's the wildest thing out of all of this. Like, he's just, he's happy playing in Dallas. I think he would have signed the Supermax there. That's my belief.
I think it's genius, honestly, by the Lakers to get a guy, 10 plus years younger?
Of course it's genius by the Lakers, but they didn't do anything. Here's the amazing thing about it. Here's the amazing thing, because I've read so many articles about it. If Dallas wanted to move Luka, why not open up a bidding war? Because you don't think other NBA GMs would have gone, wait a second, 25-year-old MVP who literally can do it all? He's available. These guys don't become available like this. No. He's available. So there's a lot of people questioning, why did the Mavericks just key in on Anthony Davis? Because remember what they get, 1 first-round pick in return, Solana?
1 first-round pick.
Remember what Rudy Gobert got?
4?
5.
5.
5-1.
Mikal Bridges just hauled in 5 first-round picks.
It doesn't make any sense. It literally doesn't make any sense. If you want to move them, move them. I'll give Dallas credit for this. We'll never know the answer. but they're trying to avoid a Jimmy Butler situation. Or, I mean, you could go down the list of players in the final year of their contract who are deciding whether to accept the offer or they're going to test free agency, and it puts the team in a bind. And if they really thought, and there has to be more to it, there has to be personality conflicts. Apparently there's a conditioning issue where they're questioning him. Like, there has to be more to it. But if you're inclined to trade him, you don't think they could have done better than Anthony Davis and one first-round pick?
They might have. They keyed in on him. They wanted a big next to Kyrie. Like, I'm with you. I'm just trying to figure it out too with everybody else. But Luka, they want to. What's Luka about to get? $70 million a year?
He can't get that now because he doesn't have that Supermax available. I mean, he lost over $100 million moving forward because Dallas traded him.
It has to be something. There has to be some more that comes out. And I've heard, you watch social media now, and everybody's saying him and he was mad Mark Cuban was still making decisions around there, and they don't get along, whatever it is. There has to be more to it because it doesn't make sense business-wise for anybody but the Lakers.
Nico Harrison, the general manager of the Dallas Mavericks, there was that viral video which resurfaced now. They win the Western Conference Championship. Luka is celebrating in the tunnel with a beer, and somebody came up, grabbed the beer from him, and everybody kind of thought it was like
it was very subtle. Funny. Like, it was very subtle. I mean, remember it went viral the moment that it happened because it was funny.
Sure. And now everybody's like, there's perhaps some new meaning to that, because what you don't see in this trade is that a franchise player, a superstar at that age, isn't even tipped off he's being traded because they screwed him out of the possibility of $100 million. That's what's crazy about this. They didn't just say, hey, we want to move on here, and this is what we're doing. It was, hey, we don't like you. We don't like the way you carry yourself. We don't like the way you conduct yourself. We're going to trade your ass. We're going to cost you $100 million while doing it as well.
And I would say this, too. You have to look at this, and you go, okay, that happened. Who else? De'Aaron Fox gets moved over the weekend. Is there any market for Jimmy Butler?
No.
There is any market? Now, there was that a report that the Warriors were interested, but he told them he will not sign an extension, so they're no longer interested. So he's trying to make himself available to Phoenix and only Phoenix. But there just doesn't seem to be a market for him.
He killed his market.
That's what I kind of feel like. He killed his market. Now he could have gone to Golden State. And I think he just killed that move as well. I don't know what his long game is.
It was with both of them, because I think it's emotional with Jimmy. We talked about that for weeks now. But I don't know if it was a coincidence, but today they were playing at 30 for 30 when Shaq and Penny broke up in Orlando. And Shaq kind of said it. He was like, at this point as a grown man, I can see that it didn't make sense what I was doing. Like, it's two young stars. We're going to keep building and win. He said at 22 years old, I was emotional. And whenever I heard them say Penny Hardaway and the Magic, it would upset me. And I was mad. I'm watching it and thinking about this Luka thing where I don't know what happened with the Dallas. Like, do they get mad that he gets fat in the offseason? Do they snatch beers from him because he comes to practice drunk? These are all just questions I'm asking, but something must have happened, because this was
something happened. He was beloved in that city. Something behind the scenes had been brewing, because this doesn't happen. And by the way, Anthony Davis, it's not like he's a picture of health. You know what I mean? No. So I'm confounded by it. I am confounded by it.
I was amazed when they kept putting his numbers up this year, because he's like 26, 13, 5 and 4, 5 and 2. And I was like, what? And then I thought about, he's played 11 games. He can play great in 11 games.
I mean, if you're a general manager in the NBA, you have to be beside yourself angry that Luka Doncic was available and you weren't allowed to make your best offer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you have to be out of your mind angry that guy's available and you were unable to make an offer because for whatever reason, they were completely satisfied with Anthony Davis and a first-round pick.
It would seem as if, to answer the question, it would seem as if they wanted Anthony Davis. Whatever happened with Luka, the front side of it. We're moving Luka. What do you want, general manager, head coach? Anthony Davis will make us a championship.
I agree. Someone like Anthony Davis. Well, how about Anthony Davis? Because everyone's doing the thing on Twitter where it's like the Lakers. They call the Lakers. And they go, "Hey, we're interested in Anthony Davis." Yeah, he's not available. Yeah, but we'll trade you Luka. Okay, fax me the offer. You know what I mean? Like, no, we're not trading Anthony Davis. We're trading Luka for him. What? Like, it's confounding. It's why I literally thought it was hacked. Like, it didn't make sense to me.
LeBron got a year or two left, max. Now you got Luka falling right into the number one spot in LA.
I mean, for the Lakers, it is. I mean, you couldn't script anything better for the Lakers.
It's the greatest trade of all time for the Lakers if you view it from that perspective. It's the worst trade of all time if you view it from the Dallas Mavericks perspective. When have you ever seen, forget if it's Shams, any reporter, right? Like any reporter, Shams, Woj, have to tweet out, "Yes, this is real."
I know, because it did not. Like, there are people going, "Hey, I'm putting this through the trade machine," and the trade machine saying no. Like no,
yeah.
2K,
it's just not happening.
People went on 2K and tried to
Wouldn't
make
allow
the same
him to
trade.
do it, right? Wouldn't allow him to do it.
Zero interest level in this deal.
Wild, man.
Something else through this conversation kind of touched me. So, Solana, you fly to Gatlinburg to sit in the house at 1 a.m. and check the trade deadline with your friends?
Yeah, add in a little moonshine, and that's pretty much my weekend. Uh-huh.
That's a weird
Moonshine.
That's a weird celebration of marriage.
You would not get me drinking moonshine. I'll tell you that right now.
Hey, guys, let's go stare at our phones in the middle of the woods at 1 a.m.
Oh, listen, you remember what happened the last time they went into the mountains? They had to be airlifted out. The Air National Guard was called in. Eduardo Solana came out of retirement for Uruguayan National Guard.
Y'all made up that trip. This sounds exhilarating.
Let's do headlines because Will Manso's going to join us, and I always like his take on basketball. This is the one thing that I'm going to tell you about Will, though, because I was thinking about it this morning. If there's one person who's going to say, you know, it makes sense for both teams, it's going to be Will Manso. I guarantee you. I don't know if I'll say it in those words, but I guarantee you in some sort of, well, I can look at it and go, there's a clear winner to this trade, my opinion.
Yeah.
And it's the Lakers. They've got for the next decade a superstar. I think Dallas's window is small because of Anthony Davis. Like, and I don't see it moving the needle the way they obviously see it moving the needle. But I think they may see themselves ridding themselves of a potential headache more than anything.
Yeah.
I think this has to do, it's again, stuff that I talked about with Tyreek Hill going into next season. But this is on a grander level than that, I think. Because Luka, you know, NBA superstars literally can make or break a squad. Period. End of story. A wide receiver, while it's a great addition, doesn't necessarily mean much. I mean, we saw it this season. So it's wild to me what has happened.
Klay Thompson's older. Kyrie's a little older. Who is PJ Washington's young? I'm just looking at their damn roster. Like you say, we add a big like Anthony Davis, and you have all these stars around. Like we're in win now mode. Next 3 years, we got to win a championship or it's over.
But do you think Anthony Davis makes that difference for them?
If he could play every game,
but he doesn't.
Special.
He doesn't. I mean, Kawhi Leonard too. Bring Kawhi Leonard down there if he would play every game and you pair. But like he doesn't.
We have this small window. Let's maximize it. We're gonna lose Luka anyway. That would. I'm just reaching for a reason this would happen, and something has to come. There's too many smart people not to explain why Luka did not want to be in Dallas because that has to be the fact.
But you don't close it off. That's the crazy part. I can see that where the general manager is saying, hey, we probably don't feel like he's going to resign here. There might be too much friction between us. And truthfully, he's not our style of superstar. So let's try to move on from him now. especially because he's only played 22 games this season, and our title opportunities this year are probably not great. Like, I can frame that argument, but you don't say, okay, yeah, Mikal Bridges took in 5 first-round picks. Rudy Gobert took in 5 first-round picks. Donovan Mitchell took, a haul and multiple first-round picks and say, yeah, Anthony Davis and 1. And they gave up the best role player in the trade and Maxi Kleber, who I know I trolled a lot in the NBA Finals, but I'm not even kidding. He's better than Max Christie. You know what I mean? Like,
but
it
to
doesn't
not
make
open
any
it
sense.
up, like Solana said, that's the confounding thing to me. You have one of the most valuable assets in your industry.
Mm-hmm.
And there are 30 plus players in the industry who would have an interest. If you have a gem and there's 30 giant gemstone companies, why would you talk to one and one only and take that offer? That's the confounding part to me.
Well, first off, we talk about Max Kleber more than any other radio show in the history of time. But if you're a billionaire, you have assets galore. What kind of car do you want? I want a Porsche. You can have a Ferrari, a Lamborghini, a Bugatti. Like, you have unlimited money. I want a Porsche. I'm going to go get a Porsche. To that point, you have this crazy asset, but you want Anthony Davis. That completes my team. I am a championship.
What if I give you five ones? 5 ones. You're going to hit on an Anthony Davis and more on the 5 ones.
Hoch, maybe. Is Anthony Davis a champion? And I'm not fighting for Anthony Davis because he doesn't play enough, but he's a champion. He's probably a Hall of Famer.
Listen, he's a generational talent as well. Yeah. I'm with you. He just doesn't play enough, and he's not 25. You're trading apples for oranges.
But Crowder, at least you know, right? Like, I want Anthony Davis, and this is what's on the table. By the way, I found out this morning that there were more picks on the table, but it seems like Rob Pelinka slow-played it a little bit and was able to keep Nico Harrison, the general manager, from opening this up to anybody, which is the craziest part. Like, Pelinka just absolutely duped this guy and was able to convince him that this is the trade and the only trade that makes sense for you. But Crowder, at least if you open it up, you drive the price up maybe a little bit, and the Lakers go, hey, look, before you even contemplate that, fine, we'll give you 2 more first-round picks and Anthony Davis, and we'll get this done. Then at least like, this is what would have been available. This is what made sense. Fine. But they don't know. They never knew. And I'm not saying the Heat would have, but what if the Heat would have said, we'll give you Bam and Tyler Hero and 2 first-round picks? We'll find a third team to facilitate. Like, I don't know if that's the case, but for Luka Doncic, you have to imagine there's a lot of teams around the NBA that would have said, what do you want? Tell us, what do you want? We'll make it happen.
Would you rather have Bam and Tyler or Luka?
Ooh.
Because to Solana's point, that's not a slam dunk no. Like, that's
not a slam dunk no.
That's like, get everyone together in the conference room immediately.
Yeah.
That's the part that I find confounding, is that who knows what someone might have given up for Luka? Who knows?
And will we ever know now?
We will never know.
I think he's one of those guys. I really do. And I know we've had our differences on opinion on Luka in the past, but I genuinely believe at 25 years old, whether he's fat or not, I don't care. He is one of those guys where you're drafting an NBA team right now for the future. Everybody's on the board. I think there's 4 guys you even consider, and Luka's in that conversation. It's Victor Wembanyama, it's Giannis Antetokounmpo, it's Luka Doncic, and it's Nikola Jokic.
Or him, yeah.
Like, I mean, we're talking about a generational global.
That's the thing, too. That's like, this is a global superstar. And
he took you to the finals. He just took
God bless him. God bless the Lakers for getting him, because it's, I mean, it sets them up. It really does set them up in a way that they never could have imagined. Literally, in their wildest dreams, if you said to anyone associated with the Lakers, in 2025, Luka is going to be playing in the Lakers uni, they'd say it's impossible. What would we do? How could we possibly get him?
Lakers and for Luka. Because back to the documentary,
yeah.
That's when Shaq's music took off, his acting took off. You're in the middle of LA.
Yep.
Luka, does Luka have commercials? Tell you, he's one of the top 4 young players in the league. What's Luka's commercials? I don't see him.
He's part of Jordan Brand. So he's like one of the faces of Jordan Brand. That's a pretty big deal. And I guess I don't know if he's like sponsored by Kia or one of these big advertisers.
No, but Dallas to LA is an exponential upgrade.
Watch how many damn commercials Luka's about to get.
Let's do a super quick look at the headlines because I want to be able to talk basketball with Will Manso. Headlines with Solana brought to you by Doral Volkswagen. At Doral Volkswagen, choose from over 300 new Volkswagen models in stock like the Tiguan, Taos, and Atlas. And remember, when it comes to Volkswagen, the great deals are at Doral Volkswagen. So
De'Aaron Fox is headed to San Antonio, which is where he wanted to go. That was kind of a bizarre trade as well. Jimmy Butler, according to Brian Windhorst, his camp let the Warriors know he's not interested in signing an extension there. So per Brian Windhorst, that's off the table. Warriors and the Heat.
And by the way, then you have to go, well, wait a second. Is this about money? Because we thought it was all about money. So now here's a team that's willing to trade for him and apparently give him an extension, and he's saying no. So what is this about now?
Bipolar.
Your guess is as good as mine.
What
I was told over and over, this is about money.
If the Heat would have given the extension in the offseason, none of this would have happened. That's what we've heard from a number of people.
The Panthers went 2-0 over the weekend. They beat the Islanders yesterday 6-3. Bam Adebayo knocked in a game winner in San Antonio. Ice cold. Best game of Adebayo's season. And so much for your can't score more than 12, 14 points a game jokes, Crowder.
Hey, now let me go back to back.
The reason that it was such a big deal is because he very rarely does it. That's why. Like everyone was like, "Hey, look at what Bam can do." And if you do that on a consistent basis, that's not your reaction.
No. And then he flew to his old lady's jersey retirement.
And they just come out and say they're a couple. I hate that nonsense where, oh no, we don't know. Okay. You're flying everywhere. She's everywhere you are. Yeah. You're everywhere she is. What are we doing here?
Your name is in her speech.
Right.
Y'all ain't together? What's going on here?
And Canes Hoops ended a losing streak. They get their first ACC victory of the season. They beat Notre Dame 63-57 at the Watsco Center on Saturday. The Heat played tomorrow. They're in Chicago to face the Bulls.